Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here with lifeonfire.com, and I'm going to be sharing with you literally my number one best decision I have ever made in my entire life outside of proposing to Megan and this one decision changed everything in my life. This is literally how I started Life on Fire, by this one decision, and this is all about how to hire a business coach, and most importantly, how to make six figures with a business coach. Check it out. Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and I'm a kick-ass business coach, and I'm on an absolute mission to help you find your purpose in life, to help you love what you do for work every single day, to help you be the rock star that you are meant to be, to make more money than you ever thought was possible, and to have more time freedom so you can actually enjoy the life that you're living. I'm here to help you set your life on fire. All right, so the best thing to do from here is I want to break down with you not only how to hire a business coach, but how to make six figures. Because for most people, if you're going to hire a business coach, it's because you oftentimes want to make what? You want to make more money, right? We want to make more money. When you have more money, then you can create leverage in your business. You can hire more people. You can give more money back. So sometimes people are thinking like, oh man, you seem to only be about money. And here's the thing is that the more money that you make, the more money you can give back, the more leverage you create in your business. And at the end of the day, if you're a good person, more money is just going to magnify that. Money is a multiplier. The more money that you have, if you're a good person, you're going to be a better person. If you're a crappy person, then you're going to be a worse person with money. But the thing is that we don't want to be scared of money. We want to go towards it. And at the end of the day, if you became an entrepreneur, it's oftentimes because you wanted a sweeter lifestyle. You wanted to have time freedom, have financial freedom. You wanted to, quote, live the dream, right? So having a business coach is going to help you make more money. But the thing is that is one piece. And the key thing is that you need to take that money and make sure that you're leveraging it so that you can grow personally, that you can grow, your network, that you can give back and truly grow as a dynamic, awesome entrepreneur on fire, if you will. So before I dive into this training, what I want to do is I want to share with you exactly how I had the most life-changing moment when I hired my business coach. And so part of how that started was because as an entrepreneur, as a little kid, I always wanted to just live the dream. I looked back at thinking about like my father, my mother, and my dad was just working so much, and he never had time because he's always working. And I looked at him as a little kid, and I didn't know, what was going on, except he just wasn't around as much, right? And so as a kid, I resented him. Now, as an adult, I look back and it's like, man, what an honorable guy for doing that and working his butt off for us. But here's the thing, that what happened from there as a kid is that those experiences started to shape who I was as a person. And from that experience, I ended up growing up where I didn't want to have a job. I wanted to be my own boss. I didn't want to be chained to a desk or have to travel for work. I wanted to one day have kids and be there for them, right? And have the lifestyle. And think of why you became an entrepreneur. It's like if you became an entrepreneur, it's because we have this vision in our minds. We have something that we want to achieve. We have a lifestyle and we have an image of something that we've painted that picture, and then we become an entrepreneur to live that lifestyle. And what's crazy is that oftentimes when you get there, it's not what you expect. So on my journey, I went from having a business in college and being in a network marketing company. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where someone sits you down with a little flip chart, and it's like three people who get three people and make all this money, right? Have all this freedom. And I got so fired up about that. I thought that was my vehicle, my ticket. And it turned out great for a year and a half. And I made good money when I was 20 and 21 years old. Got a sweet car. But that whole thing went bust. The parent company went bust. I chased the dream right into real estate. I chased that and chased, making money right into real estate when the economy melted down and crashed in 2007 and 2008. And then I ended up licking my wounds coming back to Connecticut from San Diego and ended up creating a business that I was so passionate about because it was all about purpose. It was all about giving back. It was all about helping people. And I finally thought that I had it. And what happened is that everyone in my life started saying things like, wow, I think Unsworth's actually doing it. I think he's going to actually, be successful as an entrepreneur. And so I started having all these great signs and things were going the right direction. I started having success. And then all of a sudden people are saying, dude, you're doing it. You're making it. I was on TV. I was like in local papers. Like, you've got to advertise. You've got to take this to the next level. And you've got to hire this advertising company. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. And I ended up speaking with these guys. And it was 4 guys. And they took my marketing plan and they threw it right in the trash. And they said, you know what you need to do? You need to run TV commercials, print, radio, traditional marketing. And so from that situation, I ended up putting everything I had into it. I ended up putting all the money I had. I put credit card money, debt into it. And of course, it did not work. It totally went bust. I put in $30,000 and I got back $280, and it just completely sucked. And from that situation, I was hemorrhaging money, and I ended up being about $50,000 in debt. The business had to go away, and I found myself in this really tough spot. So I could have either closed up shop, filed bankruptcy, but instead I just felt like I had something inside of me. I felt that there was a gift, or if you've ever thought that you're here for a purpose, right? And you've ever thought that you've got a meaning behind what you're doing, or you've got God's presence in your life, whatever that may be. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to just take this head on, and I am going to just lean into this challenge and tattoo my chest of a goal to sell a business by 30. I go out, and my dream since I was a little kid is selling a business by 30. Everything in my head, all my passwords on my, on all stuff online, it all revolved around, being financially free by 30. Everything in my life, that was my goal. And so I get into online marketing, Facebook marketing, advertising, build up this business, and sure enough, sell it by 30 years old. And here's the thing. I get to a spot where I sell the business. I move from Connecticut all the way to San Diego. I finally had nice things. I went from, a kitchen in Connecticut we didn't have cabinets. Imagine you're like, yeah, let's grab a box of cereal. And you're like, there's no cabinets. Or where are the pint glasses? Like, oh, well, they're not on the walls because we don't have cabinets. It's a pantry, right? So it's crazy. The countertops were like this awful yellow color, and it wasn't a bad place. Wasn't the greatest location. There was fireworks, sometimes at night, but they were actually gunshots. And so it was such a trip to go from that environment to finally making it and getting to San Diego and having a beautiful place overlooking the water. I'm supposed to be like the best time of my life, sell the business, and I get out there, and I'll never forget, I spent all kinds of money to furnish the place, and there I am, and I'm all set up, interior designer helped me pick stuff out, painted stuff, looked cool, and it was my first night there where I could really enjoy it because it was set up. And I remember going outside, nice sunset, and I'm, overlooking on the balcony and just staring out, and I'm thinking, why does this suck right now? Why am I not happy? What on earth is wrong with me? What is going on? Why does this not feel good? Why do I feel depressed and alone, and it's not what I expected? And so the whole thing is that from that situation is that selling the business, I sold something that I enjoyed doing. I ended up bringing on corporate partners, and they had a totally different vision. And so the whole thing is that their vision was corporate. My vision was working with entrepreneurs like you. And we butted heads there. It wasn't what I expected. And what's crazy is that situation, which became a huge challenge for me, was actually my biggest blessing. And as much as I felt deflated, and it was why am I not happy? I didn't know what was wrong with me. I had money for that was cool. But again, money doesn't make you happy. It's just really, it's something that can be helpful and useful in your business and in your life. And so it was at that time where I ended up hanging around with a good friend of mine, Shanda Sumter, and she's just, smiling and glowing, and she's just so smiley, oh yeah, she takes a month off, and no big deal. She trains all the time for marathons and just has this amazing lifestyle. And I was like, dude, how on earth do you have that lifestyle? It just blew my mind. All the entrepreneurs I know, we're working like crazy. I mean, just had no lives, like 16-hour days. And it's like, you're just roaming around with a big old smiling face. And she's just like, I have a business coach. And I just thought to myself, that's it? Like, you just have a business coach and that, just like that? And she's like, yeah, you don't have a business coach? And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh my God, well, that's why. And I'm like, that easy? And so we started digging into it, and I realized that I've been doing everything alone, on my own as an entrepreneur. I have been pushing this boulder up the mountain like the whole time by myself. And I didn't have someone that was able to look at me and see what my gifts were, or to help me expand my vision, or to play a bigger game. And I was just always the Lone Ranger, because I had been burned by partners in the past. And now I would end up in a situation where I now had corporate business partners, but I never had the confidence to build a business by myself, right? I always had partners, and I always ended up in the same spot, which was disaster. And I was the workhorse. Next thing you know, I got taken advantage of, bam, back at the same spot. And so what I realized is that my business coach could be my confidence. This would be the first, why not build something that I love? So in that situation, I was like, I don't care what this costs. I need to hire your coach, and I will do anything it takes to get that. I'm like, so what do you pay her? And she's like, $36,000. I'm like, picture like spitting out, like if I'm eating sushi, like it flew across the room, or if I was drinking soda, or what's the guy, Stone Cold, like the beers, like I just like, what? Or a cartoon with eyes popping out. It's like, I was like, that's crazy, like $36,000? That's insane. And she's just like, yeah, but if you make 10 times that investment in 12 months, would you pay it? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, if you get your life back and time freedom, and you took a week, a month off, would you pay it? And I'm like, heck yeah. And she's like, well, it's an investment. It's not an expense. She's like, I happily pay that $3,000 a month. And so I was just like, okay, that makes sense. And then I was like, all right, I could find a way to afford it. And so long story short is I ended up completely walking away from the rest of all the money I was supposed to make from selling the business. And so it's a pretty crazy scenario. It was, my happiness was over here, or money was over here. And I said, you know what? I'm going to walk away from multiple hundreds, thousands of dollars, and just walk away from that, give the rest of the percentage that I had back, and I'm just going to go pursue being happy. I'm going to hire this coach, step into my fear. I have no idea what to expect. I was a bit of a hot mess, and I was like, I need to reinvent myself, and I need someone to help me reinvent. Boom. And I called this woman up, Suzanne Evans, I love you, and she was full. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm full. And I'm like, you're full? I'm like, I've got money, like I'm ready to do this, and she was full. So I then had to sell myself to her to get in there. And at the end of the day, a business coach that's full is a good thing. That's because she's great at what she does. But I ended up, of course, finding a way and was able to give her the money. So I get in there, and what happened from there was so crazy, is that we did what's called a VIP day together. This completely and radically changed my life forever. And what's so cool is now, as a business coach myself, I get to give this gift to other people, give this gift to you, and be able to change other people's lives with this VIP day. And it really is a crappy name. A VIP day, I was talking about this with my man Eric, who's behind the camera over there. I don't even know what the point of calling it is a VIP day for. But regardless of the name, don't let the name fool you. It's a block of time that you get to work on your life and your business with somebody that is skilled and talented, and they can see you from a different lens. It's like when you're in your own head, we're confused, we're overwhelmed, we don't know what the heck to do. When you have an expert that comes in and helps pull out your gifts and helps figure out what your purpose in life is, and when you nail that, all of a sudden, it's like everything starts to come together. And so my first experience with her was this VIP day. And I've since come up with kind of my own strategy in how I do these, which I'll share in the next session of Life on Fire TV that you don't want to miss. But what's crazy is that when we got together, she started just drilling down into my life. And And what was interesting is I started telling her about the business I just sold and, and this and that. I'm walking away from it. And she's like, no. Like, you got to go way back. Like, tell me about you. I mean, like, let me, like, share with me, what makes you tick, and let's go deep into that, because what I realized is that when you figure out what your purpose is, when you nail that, instead of pushing like the boulder up the mountain, when you really are in alignment with your purpose, it's like your purpose is so big, it's so much bigger than you, it friggin' pulls you through business and your career, and you're just like a bat out of hell. Like, you just, like, for me now, I wake up before, no matter what time I set my alarm, I wake up before my alarm every single day. Like, it blows Megan's mind. Like, it just, she can't comprehend it. It's like, how do you do that? I'm so fired up to get to do this, right? So I figured, all right, so we have to nail my purpose in life. And it's like, we're going to figure out my purpose in life in 4 hours? That's crazy, right? And so she started asking me questions, and she says, Nick, what pisses you off? I'm like, pisses me off? I was like, I don't know. I'm a pretty, like, happy-go-lucky guy. I mean, well, I'm kind of in the dumps right now, but I'm a pretty, like, happy guy. And so I was like, I don't really have things that piss me off. And she's like, well, what's your stance? What's the movement that you want to create? What's your mission in life? What's the legacy you're gonna leave one day? And and all of a sudden I started going through answering questions with her, and I realized that when I go way back, as a kid, what really just pissed me off was the fact that, like, how do I say it? My father wasn't able to be around because he was working, and it's amazing, and he's such a good man for doing that. But as a kid, I didn't get that, right? I didn't understand that. So as I grew up, my mission has always been to be an entrepreneur, to live the dream, and what have you. And I always chased that recklessly to try and make money, and yet I was never happy. And so what pisses me off is thinking about people that have all this potential in their job, in their business, but they're not living it, or they're settling, right? Have you ever thought the feeling of settling? And I was like, but what really pisses me off too is that when someone leaves that security of a job, and then they go become an entrepreneur, and then they're working more hours, they have more stress, and they make less money. And so I know for me, I was an entrepreneur that made less than people that have had jobs, and people with 401ks that grow and grow and grow, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, I'm 30 years old, like, what happened? And so it's like, it's kind of sad that people actually, that's part of what happens, and people glamorize being an entrepreneur, but oftentimes it can be a bad thing for people. So I'm like, that pisses me off, and I was like, I just want to share the truth. And what's crazy is that when I sold the business, I read a letter to myself every single morning, religiously, every single morning. And in that letter, I wrote in there, my purpose is to help others find theirs. I don't even know why I wrote that in the letter at the time. But what's funny is that somehow manifested. And I realized when I was talking with Suzanne, I said, you know what? I said, I just got it. Like what pisses me off, my stance is people that are so focused on the end destination, just like I was. I was so focused on selling the business, and I didn't enjoy my life. Like, I sacrificed so much. I was not present. I was just not all there. And that pisses me off. I want to help people not focus on the destination, not sell a business, but love what they do for work. Wake up and just enjoy it. Love the process. Like, love what they do for work. Help people be able to give back, make more money so that they can give more money. Not make more money to be selfish with, but to give. I'm like, that's what fires me up. And I was like, I want to help people find their purpose. If they can find their purpose, then they will be lit up. And then all of a sudden she's like, you just nailed it. If your purpose is to help other people find theirs. And as soon as that hit me, it was like my head exploded like fireworks. And I realized that that's what I had written down. I didn't even know why, but I kept reading it for years, a couple of years. And that became my mission. And from that, we then created and invented Life on Fire together. So if you think about it, my business coach took me from being a hot mess, depressed, alone, not happy, and just had very bad workaholic tendencies for quite a while. And then all of a sudden just created this radical shift where I all of a sudden, instead of pushing the boulder up a hill, I nailed my alignment, I nailed my purpose, and now it's like Life on Fire. It's tons of challenges every day or every week and being outside my comfort zone, but I love it and I lean into it and I want to do it. And it's very different than experiencing challenges with something that you don't love, right? So it just became so clear. And then we ended up building a Life on Fire, the brand around it. And we got rolling, and it's like we've built, over $1 million in revenue, less than, a year and a half. And it's just things are moving so fast. And when you're in that zone or you're in that alignment, you're able to share your gifts out with people, get your message out there to the world. And when you nail that, it's fun and you're way more impactful. Think of an athlete, right? Being in the zone, hitting jump shots. It's the same thing in business. So the whole thing is having a business coach helps you figure out that purpose, your purpose in life, get in the zone where you love what you do for work. And that to me is the number one reason why I hire a business coach. Because even if you're successful, even if you've had a business for 7 years, guess what? There's always going to be a way to weave in your background story, to weave in what you're passionate about, so that your business can go from being just a capitalist machine that makes money to being a for-purpose business, like Adam Braun calls it, where your business has its own mission behind it and helps people, and it's a totally different ballgame. So my goal for you is for you to have a similar situation. Can you sit down with someone that's a trained business coach and have them look at your life and see things in you that maybe you don't see? Can they see your story? Can they see, your gifts, what you're good at, and help you move the puzzle pieces around so that you're like, aha, like that's what I should be doing. Like that's what I love doing. And what's wild is that for me, I was so flipped out and blown away by what she did for me and that gift she gave me that I became a full-on business coach. I've been studying it like crazy ever since, and I get so much enjoyment out of sitting down with someone like you where I can sit down with them in person or online and go through what I call the 3S strategy, which is something that I created after all these experiences, and help you strategically figure out your story, your message, what your gifts are, and literally create and come up with your purpose in less than 4 hours. And I've done a VIP day a day for the past month and a couple weeks, and it's been absolutely unbelievable what's happened. Next week's session, you're going to hear from one of our clients who never would have guessed the purpose that we came up with, or what he discovered and what he found. And that's what's so crazy about finding the elusive purpose, is that you never really, when it's you, it's almost impossible to just figure it out on your own. But when you have someone else that is there helping you, looking and gets to know you and looking at your gifts and what you love to do, then all of a sudden it's like once you nail that, everything else falls in place. So hiring a business coach, it can help you figure out that elusive purpose. Once you nail your purpose, it'll help you get into prosperity mode. From there, it comes down to just being coachable and just leaning into challenges and then becoming excellent at marketing. Because here's the thing, once you have your purpose and you have your message, you have this insatiable desire to get it out there to the masses. Like I wake up, I think like me not getting this out there to the world it like hurts me, it pains me. Like even like we're on vacation for 2 weeks with Megan, and I'm like, it was awesome, it's fun, I did be present and unplug, but I could not wait to get back to work. Like, how would you like that for you, to be able to be so excited about work that you can't wait to get back to it? So definitely, whether it's me or someone else, it's have time with a business coach and drill down into your vision, into your purpose. And then from there, I do want to just say there's some things that are really important about qualifying a coach. You want to start by hopping on the phone and getting to know them and their organization. If they're a really awesome coach, they're going to have other coaches on their team, right? And you want to know that, are they in a spot where you want to be? For me, it's like, I've hired lots of coaches. I've had coaches for love. I've had coaches for personal development, coaches for business. I have a coach just for networking. It's like, and what's wild is that you want to make sure that the people that you hire are they in a spot that you want to be? Do they have a lifestyle that you want to have? So it's like you start with that. You start with, are they where you want to be? You also look at, do they have the skills that can help you grow faster? So are they great at online marketing? Are they going to help you generate leads? Another big one is network. Can you pay to have a coach, figure out your purpose, create a plan, and get into action? But then from there, what if they have this amazing network that you can cut the line and all of a sudden have access to people that you would never have access to, resources and people that can help you every step of the way. All these things are really important. So I want to encourage you that if you don't have a business coach, let this be, a message that drills right down in. And again, whether it's me or someone else, find someone that you resonate with. Find someone that's where you want to be, and reach out. Oftentimes there's free strategy sessions where you can hop on the phone and you can get to know them or one of their team members. And just from that alone, you can get value from that and get ideas and get going. And oftentimes they're free or complimentary. So I want to have you take a real hard look at that. When I think about other people that have had massive breakthroughs in their businesses, and you study the success, and many of them have mentors or coaches. Buddy John Lee Dumas, he started Entrepreneur on Fire, and his story is about hiring Jamie Tardy before he started that whole thing, and making, 6 figures a month. It's cut the path to success in half with a coach. So at the end of the day, what I want to leave you with is a gift. I want to leave you with a gift for a free session with it'll be either myself or one of my team members. And so we've got highly trained coaches that we work with that have the model that we've created and put together. And it is truly a gift because, in this 30-minute session, this breakthrough session, a lot can happen. Now, the purpose of these is to help you to take where you're at, figure out what you want, and then come up with a plan to help you get there. And so they're high impact. They can really get you going along the right path. And whether you do any business with us or not, it is completely up to you. And it's something that you can take what you learned in that call and run with it and implement it. Now, are there situations where some people, they get a plan or they get a plan of attack on that line, and then the next step they're saying, you know what? That was so good, I want more of that. For sure that can happen. And then that's where they want to hire us. So we don't even think about it as selling. It's like if we can add that kind of value for you and say, dude, watch how good we are in 30 minutes and boom. And if you're like, dude, that was so good in 30 minutes, I want more of that. That's how we look at it. So it's my free gift to you, and you just go to lifeonfirefreecoaching.com and we'll hook you up with a 30-minute breakthrough session. And again, it's lifeonfirefreecoaching.com, and this is our gift to you. So you heard my story, and I want to help you create your success story and get to that next level. And we want to help you every step of the way. So hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for next week, where I'm going to break down a story about a guy where I did his VIP day together, and you just get to see that this guy just turned 19, and how we took his whole story and helped him see something he never saw before. And it's so cool, so fun. So catch us back next week and go to lifeonfirefreecoaching.com to get your free complimentary session, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.
I'm here to help you set your life on fire.